Heard that, she thought it was weird.
Yeah.
It's all good.
No, it's right.
I wonder what you told the critter about fit.
I just never heard of him.
Alright, so I'm ready when everyone else is.
Very close, opening the template.
Alright, cool. Alright, everyone good? I'm good. Are you guys good as well?
Yes.
Leos?
Yeah.
Alright.
Advocacy developing countries should accept the precautionary principle in contexts where environmental protection conflicts with resource extraction consistent with the guidelines of clean production, zero discharge, and prefers onus to advocates RBIs on I means and counter purposes. A, 1 year time skew means I can't cover theory and still fair shot substance. B, no risk theory gives her free source service which allows her to move the AC, and no generic defense. The plan rectifies any flaws with the PP, column 5. Precautionary principles don't criticize birds and warmth, nation authorities, and 3 policy guidelines, scientific guidelines, and implementation. These clean reductions, zero discharge, first notice, with policy currently enforced with pharmaceuticals, present can be found in environmental assessment statutes, certain paradigm, as a viable policy framework guide, implementation, and the PP shifts legal burden in environmental cases towards the plaintiffs, that's key to justice and tort law, columns 5. Scientists, legal scholars, many compelling cases for precaution. Tort must embrace precautionary paradigm, blaming for one investment degradation, doing justice to victims. For cases which plaintiffs say, Balneo talks about her opposite precautionary tort response. The ecological paradigm, mitigate the individual's interests, bodily integrity by proxy, are collective ecological integrity, events, one is food crises, prioritizing resource extraction, makes class civilization and food crisis, sustainable development solves, plus 319. Our civilization traces the same kind of class, mind, space, motor, sharks, most relationship with population, resource size, most close, similar, and do themselves to overuse resource size, converts, climate resource challenges, may wins, drastic food crisis, including a little over a decade, tech efficiency, research results, per capita consumption, and the scale of extraction, class can avoided, per capita depletion, true to a sustainable level, and food crisis causes conflict and disability, which kills compromise over AI, TOC 13. If food supply goes up, price goes up, crisis the poorest countries' hearts, particularly those which rely on imports, food insecurity cause conflict based on recent research areas with high qualified, yes, food insecurity, especially caused by food prices, heightened demographic breakdown, civil conflict between conflict, there's historical evidence linking declining annuals, regional conflict in Europe, and Asian decline, stabilized consequence of environmental degradation, and harmful compromise pathways among big players in AGI development, and international conflicts in AI, arms race involving military robotics, TOC 4.3. Government AI development could go wrong. Government sponsor process, non-realism, risk, and thoughts possible. Governments use AI for totalitarian purposes, with the exacerbated international conflict. Hostility means countries more inclined to use AI as a weapon. Its first AI can take over the world's make building AI, the ultimate arms race. Robots fire AI to change political sensibility. Actually does. Military robotics is one of the most likely reasons arms race might develop this already. And arms race build drones, autonomous weapons, arms race may reach Cold War levels with multiple players. And AI arms race causes extinction, outweighs nuclear war, and turns on the moral theory. Schulman and Armstrong 11. In AI arms race, maybe winner check all the same launch today, Manhattan Project contains your sole access and initiating intelligence explosion to the extent that states distrust the problems with a complete power, strong sense, vigorously push forward AI research. Numerous scholars argue advanced AI poses not sure for risk human extinction. Accidentally AI is and all humanity risky systems might be a competitive advantage. Nuclear deterrence and protection afforded by existing nuclear powers. To their allies to increase the nuclear powers, not overwhelming contrast. Developing AI capable of reducing intelligence explosion with all seats race wall. AI systems outlive invading AI systems out of key features extremely more than excited identities. Play love and having catastrophic nuclear mechanical capabilities, which select less rounds AI capabilities would likely not contention to insolvency. The PP is the best middle ground between industry and regulation. Tax 11. Principles around accommodation of the needs of industry, adherence, ecological limits, splitting government, the gatekeeping role, service for purpose, ensuring, including ensuring the applicant has required expertise, research, regulating location, risk, activity, ensuring that activities take precaution for harm, ensuring through uniform review process, that human demand risk activities not exceed limits that be damaging the environment, minimizing risk for further research, conducting, making research responsibly firms will benefit the most, and skip the Dana 9 evidence. The PPs gives sustainability grant quick in 13. The PPs ensure to feel dealing practical correlating industry national systems, these make sense here inside of caution, decisions spread errors, rise from contingencies not taken into account. The PP is most commonly climate relation on perceived risk, the PP places the burden of proof on roads of activities such as correlated service, programs must convince policymakers, and moral uncertainties high enough room for improvement hard to do forward. Most people have believed God for his factor. You atheists made ethics their life work. Average with atheists not to ethics. Made meta non-religious ethics has been systematic study. Only 60 where the science is ethics is least advanced. And adopt parliamentary model to account for moral uncertainty. This was minimizing existential risk. Bottom 9. Hash 1 act 1 such turn remember knowledge cancel claim your uncertainty to expect utility to make your answers. Usually being made for seen things rough parliamentary model. Each theory gets done with part of the portion of probability the theory re-theory. Still can sway species by sacrifice together suppose you sign terms that probability to use for parliament. With makes in sessions usual like such with bottom with the unstable extremism. From playing with your moral completely data action and I don't need to win weighing values as possible. Extinction precludes all values. So it is wrong on any moral code C86. Human extinction is the only there is no conceivable human good worth extinction, but to be a human good must be made by human beings. Risk of extinction is real living nuclear one principle in any moral code, and cost benefit analysis is feasible nor any usual calculated hard in 90. Once your charge gets usual time, take time to type in courses, actual CPU, CPO, and B, and should embarrass philosophers they've ever taken seriously parallel considerations and all around surface space to escape adding calculation, not mass place to stop counting, finding out, corresponding to best, but nevertheless, be sure calculating is not the best choice. The point is almost never an issue, practically too reasonable to bring the world to a standstill, and the standard is maximizing happiness. First, revisionary intuitionism is true and leads to usually a cascade. Meta-level moral reasoning even worse than useless people. It's much better discussing whether torture is bad than whether it's against the meaning, good, bad. That's a deep critical moral discussions at object level. People object that morality doesn't exist. This is not the right term to use. What do you do anyway? Take the discussion back down to the object level. I see morality's partial renormalizing tuition. Julie Long tuition love the rock. Keep all your tuition and then you love the decay person. Even though opponent's intuition just still seems like a good idea. After being reflected on, if you try to violate usual, you ran paradoxes, contradictions, and other sense and moral coherence after research showing that people will chop their feet up if you frame the problem wrong, right? Start distrust first impressions. We read enough research on scope and sensitivity. People will pay the same amount, say 50,000 lives, 5,000 lives. You can think it was some incredibly deep moral truth, or you can say the intuition is wrong. The brain can't multiply, but it ought to. When you read the biases research and enough coherence proofs to expect utility, you don't see perhaps the reversals as some deep moral truths just to show the brain doesn't multiply for intuitions. Adult assessment of emotional effects while clients when you're reflected and correct enough studies to common denominator or meta principle, which will make phrase shoved and multiply and swine. Utilitarian second, util is physiologically necessary. Everyone values happiness whether they want to or not. Even a skeptic wouldn't shoot themselves in the foot. Third, the ultimate human good is happiness, Star Wars not. Lose very knowledge versus instinct, find pleasure, pursue knowledge. Knowledge has just worth because yields habits, safety, set other values, real fact, people seek autonomy, explains pleasure, autonomy, reveals values, some trends word, they constitute pleasure. And sentimentalism begs the question, must use usual Debs 9. What constitutes genuine moral goodness versus merely value? What constitutes the main and the moral for those who wish to draw connection between value and sentiment? This is expressing sentimentalism explicitly seeks to vindicate the ethical importance of values that are not distinctly moral nexus theory grams. One debating about the PP's key topic education, Shetland Rabbits report. Previously evaluating the concept of the great spirit observation difference research political economics is guided by the PP. People are concerned with rigorous standards of proof. A general theme is gain currency is that people are free to do as they want rather than do not cause harm to others. This is at the heart of many cities' policy debates. People decide how to act. Risk of uncertainty proofs required for choosing an alternative. There's risk of failing to prevent harm bias such type 2 errors. Crafting policy asking whether such bias is appropriate for preventing harmful legitimate consideration at the core sustainability and air off in theory because the time skewed next side bias negs 12% more rounds of BBT according to Tabroom and fancy debate confirmed 7% next side bias. Also there was a massive next side bias in the first. There was a massive 8% next side bias overall for all 7 rounds of TOC, and even if we could both get 13 minutes, the distribution of times, the source of the views, and even if I could get faster or more efficient, she could too. Process.
Alright, ready?
Yep.
So your argument is food prices cause conflict causes AI, right?
Yeah, the TOC 13 evidence says that food crises would lead to conflict and instability, which kills compromise over artificial general intelligence development.
Can you read me the warrant and the second justification for yourself?
That was the,
It was the one sentence one.
Oh, util is epistemologically necessary because everyone values happiness whether they want to or not. You can't just force yourself to stop valuing happiness.
Can you just read the warrant though?
Yeah, everyone values happiness whether they want to or not. Even a skeptic would not shoot themselves in the foot. Just like naturally you cannot not value happiness.
Okay, so a lot of people are not utilitarians, right?
Sure, but it's epistemologically necessary for them to accept the value of their happiness.
Why does that mean we have to maximize that happiness?
Util would best cohere with that sort of judgment.
Like
I'd also
Eric
argue
Palmer, right? He probably likes being happy. He also thinks that util is like a despicable moral theory. Why does that mean that, like, epistemologically, everyone thinks that util is...
The Jankowski 8 evidence would suggest that his non-utilitarian intuitions are cognitively biased, which means it would be definitely more coherent.
That's fine. How can we tell if an intuition is cognitively biased?
There's a significant amount of literature about cognitive biases, in particular Jankowski 8 cites
Right,
literature about scope and sensitivity, which is that studies show that the mind is so finite that we do not understand like massively large numbers, or like your mind is too finite to understand how large the Earth is.
Fine.
Similarly, that's the reason why people would not kill one to save 6. They would...
My question is, how do we know that a moral judgment is a result of a cognitive bias rather than like a moral process at work?
Jankowski cites literature that examines it scientifically.
How do they examine it?
Studies show that people...
What was the study?
Studies show that people will pay the same amount to save 50,000 lives as 5,000 lives. There's also another study that people would pay more money to save 1 child than 8. It's because their brains do not understand the scope and harm of 8 children dying.
Your study says that in people's intuition said that we would pay more to save 1 kid.
Yeah, revisionary intuitionism says we should hold our intuitions up to reflection and see whether they're actually coherent.
But reflect them against what?
We just see if they're objective and coherent. Util is far and away the most coherent moral theory.
You're saying we should take an intuition and we should be like, is it a good intuition? That seems to already require a moral theory to consider that.
No, you don't need a moral theory for that. We
Why?
see if it avoids cognitive biases. We should not base a moral theory on arbitrary cognitive biases.
The reason you say it's based on a cognitive bias is because it's bad to sacrifice 1 life for the sake of 8.
Scientifically, our minds are corrupted. We should not base a moral theory on arbitrary cognitive biases. Like, just because, like, he even points this out. You could think that these intuitions were some incredibly deep moral truth. Or you could say, the intuition is wrong, the brain can't multiply, but it ought to. It's arbitrary that our brains do not understand these large parts.
I gotcha. There are 3 justifications for util, right?
Yes.
Alright, so
But I also say that Bostrom means that even if util is a weak moral theory, non-utilitarians would make concessions to util next.
If you lose util, can Bostrom say you get access to the AC anyway?
if you win conceded answers to util, there wouldn't be any moral uncertainty, but if the framework debate is unclear, there's at least moral uncertainty there. Even if you win a strong risk of your util answers being true, even if util is a weak moral theory, non-utilitarians in the parliamentary model would make concessions to util on existential risks.
Okay, can I see the...
Yeah, I'll just take out whatever. Oh, I also read sentimentals and mixed question involves util. I guess that's a word. Okay. Read the app.
Starting prep.
The Darwish 9 evidence, which says the ultimate human... No, the ultimate human good is happiness. The ultimate reason why we value anything at all is because of its effect on our happiness.
Well, I thought you said you read 3 descriptions.
Yeah, I read Darwish 9 along with the util as epistemically necessary argument. They may seem similar, but they're distinct words.
But where is that?
Sure.
Did you read the personal identity one?
No.
And the theory spec was just the thing at the bottom and then like I means in.
I say af gets RBIs and I means in counter occurs.
Alright, 3 or 7. And one on.
Okay.
Is it possible to turn the like that fuzzy background noise off?
Yeah.
I think that will make this room into like a little oven or
I'm not sure to turn it up.
Let me give it a shot. Sure.
It might be in there. Open that cabinet with that door.
Yeah, no, this is where it is. But you don't turn it off right now.
Okay, we should turn off, it's off.
Okay.
But that might be connected to other rooms that I don't have control of.
Try to speak loudly then, it's just with that noise and that noise.
Okay, it's like this good, or we say like louder.
I'll say louder.
Yeah, so NC1 on PC.
Okay.
And there will be cross applications from the NC to the AC external. Alright, everyone good?
Yep.
I negate environmental protection to fund management
louder.
and used to maintain natural conditions for future generations. So, the after theory of intergenerational equity and the negative sense present priority. First, the resolution is timeless rather than the president's evaluation of the scope. There's no temporal specification that the president's statements to be true atemporally. Frege. The president intends to use either the data to eliminate any temporal restriction timeless in part without a time and indication needed by the president. The board must know what sentence was uttered. In all cases, the wording read not complete expressions certain company conditions of utterance which are used as means of expressions that are needed for the correct apprehension. Only appealing to obligations to existing people, thus a conditional affirmation of ignore the timeless nature of the resolution. Only obligations to potential people will hold an end temporal concept that be truly atemporal. Second, if we just care about the present generation, our goal is to maximize the value we extract from the environment to find a time. That's inconsistent with production A. We have no interest in what happens. We have no interest in what happens to the environment after one generation. B, we can allow the environment to degrade right now as long as we take long enough to exhaust it. So, if I we don't value future generation, no basis for valuing environmental protection. Third, most environmental harms a long time frame, such as global warming, nuclear waste, and major impact on the next generation. We don't care about future generation. We rapidly deprioritize the environment relative to quo, which already prioritize research on balance. I can